How long will you keep saving everyone else while quietly losing yourself? You have been strong for people who disappeared when you needed them, loyal to those who never protected your heart, and available to everyone except yourself. But listen carefully, Allah did not give you this life so you could spend it waiting for someone to rescue you. There comes a moment when you must stop begging for support, rise from your pain, and become the woman who refuses to abandon herself again. Put yourself first, not because you no longer care about others, but because your faith, dignity, peace, and future deserve protection too. Today, you stop waiting to be chosen. Today, you choose yourself with Allah as your greatest strength. One, stop putting everyone first while you slowly destroy yourself. You have spent so much time protecting everyone else's feelings that you have forgotten how to protect your own heart. You say yes when your soul is begging you to say no. You stay silent when something hurts you, and you continue giving even when you are emotionally exhausted. You call it kindness, loyalty, or patience, but deep inside you know that you are slowly disappearing from your own life. Putting yourself first does not mean becoming selfish or uncaring. It means understanding that Allah did not create you to become empty while trying to keep everyone else comfortable. Your health matters, your peace matters, your dreams matter, and your relationship with Allah matters. You cannot continue saving people while quietly destroying yourself. Some people may become upset when you set boundaries because they benefited from you having none. Let them misunderstand you. You are not responsible for sacrificing your dignity just to prove that you have a good heart. Real kindness includes being kind to yourself. Start listening to the pain you have ignored. Stop apologizing for needing rest, and stop feeling guilty for choosing what protects your peace. You deserve the same care, patience, and support that you freely give to everyone else. 2. Stop depending on people who disappear when you need them most. One of the hardest truths you must accept is that not everyone who enjoys your presence will remain when your life becomes difficult. Some people stay close while you are useful, cheerful, available, and constantly giving. But the moment you need understanding, encouragement, or support, they suddenly become distant. Their absence hurts because you built your emotional security around their promises. You expected them to care for you with the same loyalty you showed them, but people are limited. Hearts change, and even sincere relationships can disappoint you. This does not mean you should stop loving people. It means you must stop making them the foundation of your strength. Your heart was never created to depend completely on someone who can walk away. Place your deepest trust in Allah, because He knows every burden you hide and every tear you refuse to show. Learn to comfort yourself. Make decisions without waiting for approval, and continue your journey even when nobody checks on you. When people disappear, do not chase them until you lose your dignity. Let their absence teach you what their presence never could. You are capable of standing, healing, and growing without begging anyone to remain. The support of people is a blessing, but the support of Allah is your foundation. 3. No one is coming to rescue you. Stand up and take control of your life. There comes a moment when you must stop waiting for someone to notice how tired you are. Understand everything you have survived and arrive with the perfect solution to repair your life. You may have spent months hoping that someone would finally support your dreams, defend you, guide you, or give you the courage you could not find within yourself. But while you continue waiting, your days are passing, your opportunities are disappearing, and the life Allah entrusted to you remains neglected. This truth may feel painful, but it is also liberating. No human being is responsible for rescuing you. People may encourage you, advise you, and walk beside you, but they cannot take the steps that only you have been commanded to take. Nobody can perform your salah for you, control your habits, protect your time, heal your mindset, or build the future you keep praying for. You must stop treating yourself as powerless. Allah has already placed strength, intelligence, choice, and the ability to change inside you. You may not control what happened in your past, who abandoned you, or how unfairly you were treated, but you still have authority over what you do next. Remaining trapped in pain will not punish the people who hurt you. It will only keep you from becoming the person you were capable of becoming. At some point, you must decide that your suffering will no longer control every decision. You must rise even if you rise slowly. You must begin even if you begin without confidence. Courage does not always arrive before action. Sometimes courage is created after you take the step while your heart is still afraid. Take responsibility for your life without turning that responsibility into self-hatred. Taking control does not mean blaming yourself for every hardship. It means refusing to surrender your entire future to what happened yesterday. Look honestly at the areas you have been avoiding. If your faith has weakened, return to Allah one prayer at a time. If your health is suffering, begin caring for your body with discipline. If your environment is destroying your peace, create boundaries. If you lack knowledge, start learning. If your habits are keeping you stuck, replace one destructive habit with one beneficial action. You do not need to transform everything overnight, but you must stop using the size of the journey as an excuse to remain in the same place. There will be days when nobody celebrates your effort. You may have to encourage yourself, correct yourself, and continue without receiving recognition. Do not interpret silence as failure. Allah sees the private battles no one else understands. He sees you resisting the habit you once surrendered to, waking up after disappointment, making dua through tears, and trying again after believing you had nothing left. Your responsibility is to make sincere effort. The outcome belongs to Allah. Tawakkul is not sitting still while expecting your life to change. Tawakkul means tying your camel, taking every responsible step available to you, and trusting Allah with what remains beyond your control. Stop saying that you will begin when someone believes in you. Begin because Allah gave you another day. Stop waiting for motivation to appear. Build discipline so that you can continue when motivation disappears. Stop waiting for the perfect opportunity. Use what you have, learn through your mistakes, and allow consistency to take you where emotion never could. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you rebuild your confidence. Every time you choose what is right instead of what is easy, you become stronger. Every time you stand after falling, you prove that your past does not have the final word. You are not waiting to be rescued anymore. You are becoming responsible for the heart, time, abilities, and future Allah placed in your care. Ask Allah for guidance, then move. Ask Him for strength, then confront what you have been avoiding. Ask Him to open the right doors, but prepare yourself to walk through them when they open. Your life will not change merely because you desire something better. It will change when your dua is followed by effort, your hope is supported by discipline, and your trust in Allah becomes greater than your fear of beginning alone. 4. Become the voice that pushes you forward when nobody believes in you. There will be seasons in your life when the people around you cannot see what Allah has placed inside you. They may question your ability, laugh at your goals, remind you of your past failures, or make you feel foolish for believing that your life can become better. Some will discourage you because they genuinely do not understand your vision, while others will doubt you because your growth forces them to confront everything they have refused to change within themselves. Their words may enter your mind so deeply that you begin repeating them to yourself. You start saying, maybe I am not strong enough. Maybe I am asking for too much. Maybe someone like me cannot succeed. Before long, their disbelief becomes your inner voice and you begin destroying your future without them needing to say another word. You must learn to recognize when the voice inside your head does not belong to the person you are trying to become. Not every thought deserves to be trusted. Some thoughts are simply the remains of old criticism, rejection, embarrassment, and fear. Perhaps someone made you feel incapable when you were young. Perhaps you failed once and decided that failure was your identity. Perhaps you spent years around people who only noticed your mistakes and never acknowledged your effort. But their inability to recognize your potential does not prove that you have none. People judge you according to what they have already seen, while Allah knows what you can become through faith, effort, patience, and discipline. Stop waiting for everyone to understand you before you believe in yourself. If you require constant encouragement from people, your progress will always remain under their control. You will move when they praise you and stop when they become silent. You will feel confident when they approve and worthless when they criticize. That is not strength, that is emotional dependence. You must become the person who can continue even when nobody notices, because some of the most important growth happens in private. The roots of a tree grow beneath the ground before anyone sees its branches. In the same way, Allah may develop your character, discipline, wisdom, and faith long before the world can see the results. Be careful about how you speak to yourself during difficult moments. You cannot build a strong life with a voice that constantly insults you. Calling yourself useless will not make you more disciplined. Reminding yourself of every mistake will not help you heal. Comparing your beginning to someone else's success will not make you progress faster. Speak to yourself with honesty, but also with mercy. Say, I made a mistake, but I can learn from it. I feel afraid, but I can still take the next step. I am not where I want to be, but I am no longer willing to remain where I was. This is not arrogance or false confidence. It is refusing to deny the ability Allah has given you to grow. When nobody believes in you, remember that you do not need to prove your worth by announcing every plan. Some dreams need silence before they need attention. Work quietly, improve your skills, strengthen your connection with Allah, protect your routine. Let people misunderstand your silence while you build the life they thought you could never create. The strongest response to doubt is not an argument, it is consistent action. You do not have to convince everyone that you are changing. Become so committed to your growth that your results eventually speak without explanation. There will be mornings when you do not feel motivated, and that is when your inner voice matters most. You must be able to tell yourself, get up, pray, begin again, do what must be done, even if your emotions have not caught up yet. Motivation is temporary, but the words you repeatedly speak to yourself can become a source of discipline. You may not always feel powerful, but you can still behave responsibly. You may feel disappointed, but you can still protect your commitments. You may feel lonely, but you can still continue building. Strength does not mean that you never feel weak. It means weakness is no longer allowed to make every decision for you. Do not confuse one bad day with a bad life. Do not turn one rejection into proof that every door will remain closed. Do not turn one failure into a permanent identity. The enemy wants you to believe that because something did not work before, nothing will ever work again. But failure can become guidance when you are willing to learn from it. It can reveal what needs improvement, what must be avoided, and where your intentions need to change. You are allowed to adjust your plan without abandoning your purpose. You are allowed to rest without quitting. You are allowed to begin again without feeling ashamed that the first attempt did not succeed. Remember that Allah does not require you to see the entire road before taking the next step. Sometimes He gives you enough light only for today because He is teaching you to trust Him rather than your own certainty. Your responsibility is not to predict every outcome. Your responsibility is to make the best decision you can, seek guidance, remain sincere, and keep moving. When fear says, what if you fail? Answer it by asking, what if this effort changes me even before it changes my circumstances? Every sincere step can strengthen your character, deepen your patience, and bring you closer to the person you have been praying to become. You must also stop measuring your progress only through visible success. Maybe the result has not arrived yet, but you are more disciplined than you were 6 months ago. Maybe the opportunity has not opened, but you are no longer begging people to validate you. Maybe your life still looks the same from the outside, but your heart now turns to Allah instead of collapsing every time someone walks away. That is progress. Becoming emotionally stronger, spiritually grounded, and more responsible is success, even before the world gives it a name. There may be moments when you are the only person who remembers how far you have come. In those moments, acknowledge your own effort. Remember the days you survived when you thought you would never feel peaceful again. Remember the times you stood up after rejection, prayed through confusion, and continued despite having no clear sign that things would improve. You have already overcome situations that once seemed impossible. Do not forget your own evidence of resilience simply because the next challenge looks frightening. Become your own encouragement, but do not make yourself your only source of strength. Your confidence should remain connected to Allah. Tell yourself, I can continue because Allah is guiding me. I can recover because Allah is merciful. I can face uncertainty because Allah controls what I cannot. I can work hard without becoming desperate because what is written for me cannot be taken by anyone else. This kind of confidence does not make you proud, it makes you steady. It allows you to make effort without worshipping outcomes and to value yourself without needing to feel superior to anyone. One day, the people who doubted you may finally recognize your growth, but by then, their approval should no longer be necessary. The real victory is not making them regret underestimating you. The real victory is becoming so grounded that their doubt can no longer make you underestimate yourself. You do not need revenge, you need progress. You do not need everyone to apologize. You need the freedom to move forward without carrying their opinions into every decision. So when nobody believes in you, become the voice that says continue. When fear tells you to hide, remind yourself that growth requires courage. When failure tells you that you are finished, remind yourself that Allah has allowed you another chance to begin. When loneliness makes you question your path, remember that being unsupported by people does not mean you are abandoned by Allah. Keep building, keep learning, keep praying, and keep showing up for the life you say you want. The voice you develop during this difficult season may become the same voice that carries you into every future season of success. 5. Choose yourself now, before you lose the future. Allah is preparing for you. There comes a point when continuing to abandon yourself becomes more dangerous than disappointing the people around you. You may have convinced yourself that sacrifice is always noble, silence is always patience, and staying is always loyalty, but not every sacrifice is rewarded. Not every silence is wise, and not every relationship deserves another chance to damage you. Sometimes the most responsible decision you can make is to choose the life, peace, faith, and future Allah has placed in your care. Choosing yourself does not mean believing that you are more important than everyone else. It means finally accepting that you are also one of the people you are responsible for protecting. For too long, you may have treated your own needs as if they were inconveniences. You postponed your healing because someone else needed your attention. You ignored your exhaustion because you were afraid of being called selfish. You abandoned your goals because people around you did not understand them. You kept returning to places that weakened your faith because loneliness frightened you more than losing yourself. Every time your heart warned you that something was wrong, you silenced it and told yourself to endure a little longer. But while you were trying to preserve every connection, you were slowly breaking the connection you had with yourself. Ask yourself honestly, how much more of your life are you willing to lose while waiting for people to become what they have repeatedly shown you they are not? How many more promises must be broken before you stop building your future around someone else's potential? How many times must you feel empty after giving everything before you realize that love without responsibility can destroy the person who keeps sacrificing? You cannot keep offering unlimited access to people who bring confusion, disrespect, and emotional exhaustion into your life. Mercy does not require you to remain available for mistreatment. Forgiveness does not mean restoring the same access. A good heart still needs wise boundaries. Some people will resist the moment you begin choosing yourself because your new strength will remove the comfort they received from your weakness. They were comfortable when you never said no, when you immediately answered every call, when you apologized even when you were not wrong, and when you accepted less than you deserved just to prevent conflict. The moment you protect your time, speak honestly, or refuse to carry responsibilities that do not belong to you, they may accuse you of changing. They are right, you are changing. You are no longer willing to disappear so that everyone else can remain comfortable. Do not feel guilty for becoming difficult to misuse. You can remain kind without becoming endlessly available. You can support people without destroying your own health. You can love someone while admitting that their presence is no longer healthy for you. You can pray for them from a distance without allowing them to repeat the same damage. Choosing yourself may disappoint people who expected permanent access to your energy, but their disappointment is not proof that your decision is wrong. Sometimes guilt is simply the feeling that appears when you begin breaking a pattern that once controlled you. Your future cannot survive if your present decisions are constantly made from fear. Fear of being alone may keep you in the wrong company. Fear of criticism may keep you hiding your abilities. Fear of failure may prevent you from beginning. Fear of disappointing your family or friends may cause you to live a life that looks acceptable to everyone except the person living it. You must decide whether temporary discomfort is more frightening than permanent regret. Saying no may feel uncomfortable today, but saying yes to everything can cost you years. Walking away may hurt for a season, but remaining where you are repeatedly diminished can change the way you see yourself forever. Allah has given you time, abilities, health, opportunities and responsibility. These are trusts, not possessions to waste while waiting for permission from people. The dreams in your heart may require discipline, learning, patience and sacrifice, but they should not require you to destroy your relationship with Allah or your dignity. Protect the person you are becoming by making choices that agree with the future you keep praying for. If you are asking Allah for peace, stop returning willingly to chaos. If you are asking for growth, stop protecting the habits that keep you weak. If you are asking for better opportunities, prepare yourself before they arrive. Dua is not a substitute for responsibility. It should awaken responsibility within you. Look at your daily life and ask whether your habits are supporting the woman you want to become. You may desire confidence while speaking to yourself with cruelty. You may desire success while wasting your most productive hours. You may desire barakah while neglecting the worship that brings your heart back to Allah. You may desire peace while continuing to entertain every argument, every opinion, and every person who disturbs it. Your future is not created only by the major decisions you make. It is built quietly through the small choices you repeat when nobody is watching. Choosing yourself begins with keeping promises to yourself. When you say you will wake up early, make the effort. When you decide to protect your prayers, stop treating salah as something you perform only after everything else is finished. When you know a relationship is damaging you, stop creating excuses to return. When you decide to learn, improve, or build something meaningful, give it consistent attention. Every broken promise weakens your trust in yourself, while every promise you keep proves that your words have value. Confidence is not created by repeating that you are powerful. It is created by showing yourself that you can be trusted. You must also choose yourself in the way you speak. Stop explaining every boundary as though you are standing before a court. People who respect you do not require a long speech before accepting your limits. Say what you mean with calmness and dignity. You do not need to become aggressive to prove that you are strong. Strength can sound like, I am no longer comfortable with this. It can sound like, I cannot continue giving what is harming me. It can sound like, I forgive you, but I will not return to the same situation. Clear words can protect years of your life when spoken at the right moment. Choosing yourself also means accepting that some people cannot accompany you into your next chapter. Not everyone who knew the old version of you will understand the person you are becoming. Some relationships were formed through shared pain, low standards, or mutual dependence. When you begin healing, the relationship may no longer function in the same way. Do not force every connection to survive your growth. Some people were part of your lesson, not your destination. Honor what you learned without making the past your permanent home. You may feel lonely when you stop chasing people, but loneliness is not always a punishment. Sometimes it creates the space in which you finally hear your own thoughts, recognize your neglected needs, and rebuild your relationship with Allah. When every voice becomes quiet, you can begin separating what you truly want from what you were pressured to want. Use that season wisely. Do not immediately fill the emptiness with another unhealthy attachment. Learn to sit with yourself without feeling worthless. Learn to enjoy peace without interpreting it as abandonment. Learn to become emotionally stable enough that companionship becomes a blessing rather than a desperate need. The future you desire will demand a version of you who can make difficult decisions. Success is not only about reaching goals, it is about becoming capable of carrying what you ask Allah to give you. More responsibility requires stronger discipline. Greater opportunities require maturity. Healthy relationships require boundaries and self-respect. Peace requires the courage to leave chaos behind. You cannot ask for a new life while remaining loyal to every pattern that created the old one. Something must change, and that change must begin with what you are willing to tolerate, repeat, and protect. Do not wait until you completely lose yourself before deciding that you matter. Do not wait for exhaustion to become illness, disappointment to become bitterness, or emotional dependence to become your identity. Listen to the warnings your heart has been giving you. Pay attention to the environments where your iman weakens, your confidence disappears, and your peace is constantly disturbed. Not every difficult situation should be abandoned immediately, but repeated harm should not be romanticized as patience. Seek wisdom, make istikhara when appropriate. consult trustworthy people, and then have the courage to act on what you clearly understand. You may worry that choosing yourself will make you selfish, but true self-respect can make you more sincere. When you are not constantly exhausted, you can give without resentment. When you are not desperate for approval, your kindness becomes genuine rather than transactional. When you are grounded in Allah, you can love people without making them responsible for your entire emotional survival. You become capable of giving from strength instead of emptiness. That is not selfishness, that is balance. Remember that putting yourself first does not mean placing your desires above Allah's guidance. It means placing your spiritual health, dignity, responsibilities, and long-term well-being above the pressure to satisfy people. Sometimes choosing yourself means resisting what your ego wants because you know it will harm your future. It may mean leaving a forbidden connection, controlling an unhealthy desire, accepting correction, or choosing discipline over temporary comfort. Real self-love is not giving yourself everything you want. It is choosing what will protect the person you are becoming. Stop believing that another person must choose you before your life can begin. Choose your growth, choose your salah, choose your health, choose your education, purpose, and peace. Choose to become financially, emotionally, and spiritually responsible. Choose to stop returning to those who only value you when you are easy to control. Choose to release the need to prove your worth to anyone committed to misunderstanding you. Your life becomes different when you stop asking, "Who will save me?" and begin asking, "What responsibility has Allah placed before me today?" One day you may look back and realize that the decision that felt like losing everything was the decision that saved your future. The boundary that made someone leave may protect your peace. The rejection that wounded you may redirect your life. The season of solitude may develop the strength you could never build while depending on constant attention. You cannot always see the purpose of a painful transition while living through it, but you can trust Allah while making sincere and responsible choices. Choose yourself now, not because you believe you can succeed without Allah, but because you understand that your life is an amana from Him. Protect it from careless decisions, unhealthy attachments, wasted years, and people who repeatedly pull you away from who you are trying to become. Stop sacrificing tomorrow to avoid discomfort today. The future you keep praying for will not be built by the version of you who accepts everything, fears everyone, and abandons herself at the first sign of rejection. Stand up for the person you are becoming. Guard her faith before the world distracts her. Protect her peace before chaos consumes it. And build her discipline before opportunities demand it. You have spent enough time waiting for people to recognize your value. Now live in a way that proves you have finally recognized it yourself. Choose yourself with wisdom, walk forward with dignity, and keep Allah at the center of every decision. The life ahead of you needs your courage today. You do not have to keep destroying yourself just to prove that you have a good heart. Let people misunderstand your boundaries. Let them question your silence. Let them walk away when they can no longer benefit from the version of you who never said no. Your purpose is not to remain available to everyone while becoming absent from your own life. From this moment forward, stop waiting for someone to rescue you, encourage you, or give you permission to become stronger. Stand beside yourself. Protect your peace, honor your needs, keep the promises you make to your future. But never forget, becoming your own support does not mean walking without Allah. It means rising with the certainty that even when every human hand disappears, His support remains. When people fail you, return to Him. When fear weakens you, ask Him for courage. When the road becomes lonely, remember that you were never truly abandoned. Choose yourself without guilt, not above Allah, but beneath His guidance. Choose the woman who protects her faith, values her dignity, builds her future, and refuses to lose herself for temporary acceptance. You have waited long enough to be chosen. Now choose your healing, choose your growth, choose your peace, choose the life Allah entrusted to you. And when no one is there, become the support you once searched for in others, with Allah as the strength that keeps you standing. Because the moment you stop abandoning yourself is the moment your real transformation begins.